Hey, 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 welcome everyone to another episode of Five Lug Racing. With you as always, myself, Don, my co-host and partner in crime, Ryan is with us. I know usually we like to do our breakdowns and previews for each and every single race, but we're doing a little bit different for you guys today. Ryan, what do you got for me, bud?
Oh man, fresh off a trip 3 weeks in a row to Victory Lane. Joining us is no, sorry guys, it's not Christopher Bell. Maybe one day soon, but the quarterback of his pit crew, Derrell Edwards from Joe Gibbs Racing. Derrell, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Obviously, like you said, coming off of 3 victories, man, it's hard to not be doing well.
I bet. I mean, and the beautiful thing about it is it was a super speedway, a road course, and then an intermediate short style track. So just Seabell is carving it up right now. You guys are firing it on all eight. It's
And
insane. So congratulations.
thank you, man. Just like you said, it's all different variations of tracks. And honestly, talking to Adam Stevens after the Atlanta win, that wasn't one that we, had on our checklist, to be honest. And we went and took it. And we've been riding the wave ever since, man. 3 in a row. It feels good for sure.
Absolutely. And
It's an incredible run, and can you tell us a little bit about the emotions when you come off a win and you go into another track and then you win again, and then in your case add a third one to it? I mean, how do you keep yourselves level? How do you keep yourself grounded?
Yeah, I mean, well, this is a first for me. So it's kind of, I mean, I'm almost still taking it in, if that makes sense. But going into Phoenix in particular, everyone was on our side by then. Everyone felt like, we were going to a home racetrack for Christopher Bell, which, he loves in Phoenix. And everyone was on our side. And me and my pit crew got to talking before the race. It felt weird because everyone was on our side. And we were like, man, sometimes things don't go well when it's that way. Bob Podcrast picked us, which he's known for jinxing guys and them coming up short of races that they should win. But man, it felt good to secure it because there was a lot of pressure last Sunday to withstand the expectations that everyone had on us. You know what I mean? And we did our part as a pit crew. Bell did his part in the car. And it just happened to work out, man. But the emotions are just riding high right now. Honestly, it feels like we can go and win every race. And I know that's absurd to say, but today that's how, I feel, man. It's wild.
well, I mean, you guys have been putting together a championship caliber team for the last couple years. And, I've been one of the guys that have been vocal in media saying more attention needs to be on the 20 team and Seabell. That I think back to that Netflix special and that imagine that moment where they didn't expect him to be there. And, now I feel like with rattling off 3 wins in a row, everybody's got to pay attention now to you guys, and that paradigm shift is happening at Joe Gibbs Racing. We're seeing it before our eyes. You guys are legit contenders, and I'm excited to see how the rest of this year plays out for you guys. And I know you're going. I want to bring this up real quick before we get to more about you and your story in racing, but on the scanner, you know, right after he crosses victory, the checkered flag and takes that victory, I hear, some celebratory words, and then I hear, "Hey, Bell, guess what's next?" And he goes, "What's that?" And he goes, "Vegas, baby."
Mm-hmm.
That was 5 to 10 seconds after taking a checkered flag. I hear that. I know that's got to be. Listen, we all know how Vegas played out at the end of the year last year. In the second Vegas race, you guys were absolutely dominant and lost by inches because of, I don't know how Joey Logano found all that extra fuel, but he did. And
Exactly.
so is this one of those races that is circled on the schedule for you guys as kind of like a one of those tracks that you look at and say, yeah, we want that one?
I mean, we want everyone, right?
Sure.
But Vegas is definitely one that I think we got on our calendar for sure, especially coming off these 3 wins, man. Like I said, we had to go and take these. And Vegas, he's good there. I mean, he's good,
Right.
and we're firing on cylinders. And what you heard over that radio is confidence. What you heard over that radio is expectation. And when the expectations are high, that becomes contagious. amongst the pit crews, the road crew guys. And what you're seeing from the 20 crew is we're all one team, literally. We're a tight-knit group, man, and we just believe in each other. We believe in the process. We don't try to be heroic. We just do what we prepare to do, and that's go out and win and perform at a high level and let the results, fall where they fall. And we feel good, man. We're handling all of this success well. And for me as a student of, I've won everywhere I've been, from high school, junior college, Division I level to NASCAR now. So I kind of have seen like a nucleus of winning and what that means. And this team, we're handling the highest of the highs right now. No one is overly, confident. No one is like, let's throw it in the rest of the drivers or team's face. We're just poised, man, and we're riding a wave, and that's a great feeling. That's setting up for success at the end of the year, hopefully.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Ryan. You know what I love about that, and I'm going to use other sports as an example. Ryan, your Philadelphia Eagles and my San Antonio Spurs. That mindset right there is exactly what makes those teams successful, and it would not surprise me if y'all end up doing the same thing at the end of this year and lifting a championship trophy. Not getting ahead of ourselves or anything. I know there's a lot of season and playoffs to go,
sure.
But that mindset is exactly what it reminds me of. And that's just the recipe for success, man.
No doubt. Absolutely. I agree.
And that, Don, to piggyback off that, I feel like that's one of those things that is transcendent in sports. That winning can be contagious, and that winning mindset. I think of that big one at Notre Dame Stadium when they're walking out to take the field, play like a champion today. That's a mindset, and you got to have it in sports, and you really need to have it in life. You can transfer that to your professional life, or whatever, but that positive mindset definitely is contagious, and I love to hear and see that, and that also that veteran leadership that you speak of. Darrell. Now, speaking of you, you were a standout basketball shooting guard, if I'm not mistaken, at High Point University. Congrats, your High Point University in the tournament for the first time ever. That's
first time ever, man. Shout out to High Point University. I had the chance to speak to those guys, man, twice this year, actually, before their season started and somewhere in the middle this year. And I told those guys, what more motivation do you need but to be the first ever? And I'm glad to see that it came true for those guys. And the coach said in a post, I just seen it that last night, my wife showed me, the coach said in a post conference after they made it, he talked about me for a minute and a half and said, we've been leaning our hats on Derrell Edwards' words and been going through it, when we're in the crunch. And that's what he brings up. Darrell said, why not be the first ever? So that was cool to hear, Coach Allen Huss say. And I'm definitely going to try to hit a game after I see what Selection Sunday comes up with and where they play and what region. Me and my family are definitely going to try to go to their first game either Thursday or Friday next week. So shout out to High Point University men's basketball, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have a blast.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the Final Four is here in my neck of the woods in San Antonio.
Okay, nice, man. Nice.
If I remember correctly, I think that's where it's at this year.
Okay, that's what's up.
That's awesome. So, so I think what the farthest you guys went was in your senior year. You won the Big South Conference Championship, right?
Yeah, and I actually won it 2 years in a row, and we lost every time in the championship. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's just great to see them get over that hurdle. It's always great to see some of the smaller schools succeed, and that's one of the greatest things about the NCAA, that the men's tournament, the women's tournament. You get some of those smaller schools that get their chance to shine some light on their star, and that's really cool to see. Now, so basketball, obviously your sport. I know you're from Baltimore, right? Mm-hmm. So the BTM, I want to talk about how you go from, Baltimore, High Point University to such success in motorsports. I understand that you joined RCR, right? Richard Childress Racing, as a member of Paul Menard's pit crew. Was that your?
I was my first real official deal. Like your first year, you're kind of just a development guy, right? Like you're just cleaning tires, you're airing up tires for all the cup guys at that time. And that's kind of how I started. So my first year was just learning the ropes, right? I knew nothing about NASCAR. My second year I got the opportunity, a guy named Jason Hunt. he was a veteran Jackman. He was actually on Austin Dillon's, but back in the day, those guys did 2 series. So he was Austin Dillon's Jackman on Sundays and Brendan Gaughan's Jackman on Saturdays. But he decided to retire. So my second year. So my first opportunity was actually Brendan Gaughan's car for a full year before I went to Paul Menard.
Okay. And then you did end up in 2018 with Austin Dillon and the 3 team. Yeah. And we see it hanging behind you, that fire suit from the Daytona 500. That just incredible feat. And I know that there has been a lot of positive change in NASCAR as far as the athletes and just the diversity that's come into the sport. But you were the first African-American male to win a Daytona 500 on pit crew. And that is that's got to be an amazing feeling, to be a trailblazer. And now we see the sport where it is and where it's heading. And, I personally, I love to see it. And, but it's awesome to know that, you were, the first. You're a trailblazer. And that is a pretty cool feeling. Then you go on. Now you did double duty, right? So as well. So went into Xfinity, and you win a championship with Tyler Reddick, which is just insane. So like, you said, you've been around winning your entire life, whether it's been on on a basketball court or now, in motorsports. And now you see yourself at Joe Gibbs Racing. I want to say congratulations, because I know you just got a nice contract extension in the off season. You are a cornerstone piece at Joe Gibbs Racing, and I'm just going to say it and call it for what it is. Statistically, you are one of the best, if not the best, Jackman on pit road. And you've been and you've been, statistics don't lie, my friend. And we'll just call it for what it is. And you're the first Jackman that we've had the pleasure of having on our show, which is really cool. We've had a lot of tire carriers, fuelmen, interior specialists, fabricators, whatever. But, the Jackman has always been called the quarterback of a pit crew.
Yeah.
So I've watched some film on you, and I've had the pleasure of actually seeing you work in person as well. And just the speed and the precision of which you do it, and you get over the wall with that jack, and then you're also helping grab a tire real quick. And just, can you talk us through that pit crew experience for you to, developing to where you got to be this elite into the sport so quickly?
It's a mindset, man. And also it's got a lot to do where I come from. I'm from Baltimore City, which is one of the toughest cities in America to grow up in. My father, he was like a guy, out in the streets and stuff like that. My mom, she, used drugs, as I was growing up and stuff like that. But definitely a part of my life, definitely did what they could when they could. Love both of my parents to death, man. They've instilled so much in me. But that plays a big role, where I come from. And I live by this statement, man. I have seen worse. So me jumping over the wall in front of a car or shooting a game-winning free throw or something like that, it's an honor to do it. It's the pressure. It's like, I don't over magnify no situation, because I've seen a lot at an early age, just how I grew up, you know what I mean, that I shouldn't have seen as a kid. So when it comes to like fear and stuff, I don't have a whole bunch of it. And I also know the outcome already exists. You know what I mean? Like, I just play my part, do my role, and whatever God has planned for me is going to happen. Right now I'm living, this year is like Godspeed, for this 20 team. It's like, take the wheel, we're going at God's pace. We ain't going at nobody else's pace. We're not running no one else's race. And that's where you're seeing the success early. But yeah, man, it feels good. I just, my expectation is just contagious. I'm not the loudest guy in the room. It's funny because people may think I'm that if they don't know me or something like that. But everything that comes my way, from podcasts to interviews to TV to just the energy, it's literally I'm not because I'm screaming it at the top of my lungs to come talk to me. Like, you guys reaching out, I mean, I'm just authentic on Instagram or whatever the case may be. And I don't even share half of the things, that I do and stuff like that. But that's how I know I'm special. That's how I know God's got his hands on me, because it just keeps coming my way, and it's funny, when you speak like, I'm the best on pit road and stuff like that. And it's, I would talk to some close friends as to like, what would make you say that? And, you would say stats and stuff. Ryan, I wouldn't necessarily say stats. I would say, because I know you can put me on any team on pit road and that team is going to rise and get better than what I found them. So that's, if I had to say I was the best, that's the reason. Not really because of stats, but anywhere I've been, in some way, shape, or form, some special stuff is going to start happening with that group. You know what I mean? Whether that's winning or just doing something special. So that's why, like, I don't look at it as stats. I look at it, in that manner. And that's probably why I do have a lot of success, because it's not the X's and O's for me. Am I making Michael Hicks better? Am I making Jake Holmes, my tire carrier, better? Am I making my Fuller Peyton Moore better? Am I making my front changer Blake Houston better? That's what I pride myself on more than anything.
At the end of the day, you're making Christopher Bell better. Like, y'all as a team, like,
for sure.
Without you guys, Chris can't go do what he does,
No, for sure, man. And that guy, I wouldn't want to do it for no one else, because he's a great guy and he don't MF us when we aren't perfect. Because we're, at the end of the day, man, we're humans jumping over that wall, trying to go as fast as we can, and we're going to make mistakes. And he doesn't, we're going to beat ourselves up. We're pros. You know what I mean? We know what we did. We fix it. We get back. There's no need to like hammer down on that subject, especially if a race isn't over and you got more pit stops to do. And Christopher Bell, he has our back. He don't get set up by media to talk bad about us. Because I think a few years in the playoffs, we had some issues when we jumped on that car and was expected to just take him to the championship. And we were almost too excited, and we learned from that situation. So, but he didn't fall for the bait, and that's why we'll run through a wall for him and do our best that we can for him. But yeah, man, that winning stuff is just, I love winning. It's cool. But I don't know, man. I just try to make people better, really. You know what I mean? And just stay humble about it, honestly.
I think that's just beautiful and just so well echoed. And the sentiment there, I will say, because I've had the pleasure to meet you in person last year at Pocono Raceway, and there's an aura about you, my friend. And that's probably what you're speaking of right there, because those around you can see that. And I love, how purpose-driven life that you're living. And, it is contagious. And like I said, you can apply that. If you're that type of person and you have that type of persona about you, you can transplant that anywhere. But I have to tell you, man, and I love your humbleness, but the fact that you can transplant someplace else doing what you're doing and knowing the camaraderie it takes to execute at such a high level, that is talent. And that's a blessing that you have. So, shout out to you for that, because, but your humbleness though, obviously it's beautiful to see, but no doubt you're a winner anywhere you go. I mean, you've had the pleasure of pitting Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, I believe. Now you're with Christopher Bell, but you've won with everybody that you've been with. And it's just an unreal thing to see. Now
that's funny you said that. I haven't thought about that. Like, every car I've been on, I've won with. I never thought about that. Besides Ty Gibbs, I believe.
Okay.
That's not
I think
by
Ty
accident.
Gibbs is the only car that I haven't won a race with, but everyone else I have.
There's no such thing as coincidences, and it's no accident that has happened.
For sure. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, that is an insane stat you carry, but it's. And you've won some pit crew competitions too. That goes to show you how tight your group is.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely one of the best on pit road. There's no doubt about that. And I watched this. I'll use this past weekend for example. You guys were just firing off pit road. I know the one pit stop you just dusted everybody. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because they moved the line to exit off of pit road at, you know, where you win the race off pit road in Phoenix. But I mean, it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
And
One
it
of
was just,
them, it was kind of crazy, and it wasn't even a crazy fast pit stop, but it's all relative, right?
it just
Whatever
looked
we
it.
do is just relative to what, you
Right.
know, I mean, if a 10-second, if everyone else does 11, you know, it's all relative. But
Yeah.
yeah, it looked crazy. It was no one close.
Now, so you guys have already gone back and watched the tape, and I know you watch it on pit road right after the fact
Yeah.
most of the time. It's kind of like, you know, for those watching at home, and you know, another comparison is you know, the game of football. Obviously we see them get their tablet when they go back and they can watch what they do. You guys get that luxury as well, you know, live in race. How would you say that helps you in a race, being able to measure and manage that all in real time?
Well, yeah. Right after the stop, we're able to go back and look at the TV. Our cameras record over top what we're doing. We even have helmet cameras if we have an issue with a lug nut or something like that. But it just helps you dial in, you know, certain things. Everyone uses those tools for different ways. Me in particular, I don't dive into the film as much while I'm at the racetrack because I don't want to be trying to, unless there's an issue, unless I feel something and something doesn't feel smooth, I'll look at that one particular area. But I use it as just, how am I moving? What more can I do? Or what can I push a little more? I'll look at like, oh, I could have dropped that a little faster, or I was being a little cautious or safe there. There's some room, but you still got to watch that because it's still you don't know how the next stop's going to go. So you don't want to look at film and predetermine what's going to happen the next time, because you just never know what can happen. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool tool for us to see if we think, you know, a lug nut may not be tight or something like that. We use it as a tool for those kind of things, for like more serious things. Obviously, guys check to see what we can see what other cars pit road times were, whatever kind of pit stop they did. A lot of guys like to look at that. Like, I don't pay that stuff no mind during the race, because we're going against ourselves, in my opinion, you know. But guys will be like, oh, they did this or they did that. But that's just a part of the sport. I don't really dive into that too much. I try to worry about us, you know, because this sport is so different. And I got to remind guys up and down pit road, because I'll get like certain stirs from the Jackman on this side or the Jackman and that stuff. And they're like, here's Darrell, we're watching you this week. And I'm like, man, listen, you're not guarding me. I'm not guarding you. And so it's just me versus me. But if I was guarding them, they'd be in trouble. So yeah, it's fun, man. But we use that stuff as a tool, and yeah, we just try to use it when we need to, if there's trouble or issues and stuff like that.
Oh, maybe they're watching you to better themselves. I mean, because like I said,
know it's I hear it every week. Right?
Yeah.
There's somebody that's going to say something like they're watching me, they're going to learn today or so. I'm so used to it.
I'm really glad Ryan asked about the technology that y'all use, because I've got something kind of similar. When you guys are in a rhythm and you guys are just clicking on all cylinders, is it like other sports where it actually slows down for you? I know that the goal is to be the quickest off pit road. Does it actually slow down for you in real time, where you're just like, man, we nailed everything and it was the quickest on pit road?
Yeah. There is some time, and you can kind of tell by how, like, you can dictate it off your first stop almost. Like, you just know, and you know everybody's in sync, that chemistry, you know. That's why, you know, chemistry is very important. And I'm glad me and my guys have been fortunate enough to be together for 4 years, which is probably the longest in this next gen time that a group's been together at Joe Gibbs. And you're seeing the benefits from it, you know, with pit crew challenges and, you know, pit road stuff. So the chemistry, when we're clicking, man, it's like, yeah, it's almost like the basket's this big, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm gonna miss an index putting a tire on. I'm flowing around the car good. Everything's going well. I'm not really having a checkup. It is like a complete symphony, man. It's and once again, though, me and my guys, I know my guys' families, you know, I know what they do outside of the track. I know Michael Hicks and Giselle are racing their first dirt race tonight with his daughter up in Millbridge.
Love it.
We know each other on and off. You know, we group text all day, and that goes a long way when we jump over the wall, because when I'm on the wall, as you said, Ryan, as the quarterback, and I'm in the middle and I got two guys to my right, two guys to my left, I can look left and look right. And it's almost like a unspoken, we know what we're about to do. Like, I don't even got to say it no more. And that's whether we're running 20th and we got to be smooth and just, not try to do anything crazy, or we're running top 3 or running top, we're first coming down pit road and we're like, we know what time it is. And it's just an unspoken thing. You can just feel the energy of seriousness and how it goes. But like I said, Michael Hicks, a great veteran, he always reminds us, we don't have to be heroes right here. We don't have to be heroes. Because with this next gen car, man, there's a fine line that you straddle of being the fastest on pit road and the risk, man. Because with these cars, you lose 8 to 10 spots on pit road. It's very hard to gain that back on the track. And I don't care which driver you are, because these cars are so similar now. So me and my group have done our own homework on, learning from mistakes and failed stops and stuff like that we try to not take Bell out of the race. That's, like I said, we can care less about being the fastest group on pit road. We pit accordingly to the race.
Right.
Wow.
Put your driver in position to win.
That's it, man. We just don't want to take him out of contention badly. If we do a 9 flat stop and a team do a 8-5, kudos to those guys. You got beat by a great stop. But we're not getting on a wall like, hey, let's break a record and do the fastest stop ever. We're not chasing that. Like you said, if we get going in a day like Vegas, where there's a lot of stops, or Richmond or Darlington, man, we can get going because you get in that rhythm. You get in that rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just don't beat yourselves, right? And that's the mindset, right? Yeah. I got one more for you. I know we're cutting it close on your time, and then I'll let Don finish up. But I do have a question for you as a Jackman. Now I know the importance of a driver hitting their mark on pit road. And for those that don't know it and haven't seen it, typically it's a spot that's taped off where they want that car to be placed, and then you're dropping a sign there for the driver to hit the nose. But Darrell, when you go to drop that jack, and you're a big fella, and most Jackmen are, taller guys, and you got to be able to get that car up real quick. How much space do you know in your head that you need to work with? Because there's been times where a car instance, like you said, things happen. It's so variable on pit road sometimes. Now, if you're out front, you might get into your box a lot cleaner than if you're 10th in the pack or so, and who's around you. But, cutting it in, if Bell has to cut it in close, you've got to know in your head, right? You've got to have a feel for where you are with the wall and the side of the jack and stuff. But what really is the space that you need to safely get that jack up, especially when you get to the wall side?
Yeah, it's roughly about 5 or 6 feet, give or take. I always, like you talked about, taping off the box. It's essentially a parking spot for people that don't know. So I started actually taping a parking spot. So guys would usually just do tape on the left side of the pit stall. I was like, if I was a driver and I wanted to park in somewhere perfectly at a high rate, I'd probably want a parking spot. So I actually started putting 2 lines, and now everyone has moved to that. But I started that a long time ago. I did one on the left and I did one on the right when I was on Denny. Why not have a parking spot? So, and I always err on the side of giving myself more space, like you said, on that left side of the wall. Like, I'm not going to set that tape mark perfectly for me to have a perfect amount of space, because we're not in a perfect sport. They're not going to be perfect getting in the stall. I mean, that's just what it is. So they have so much to think about. So that's a human with a lot on his plate. I can't expect him to be perfect. Hopefully drivers look at us the same way. I give myself an extra foot or so. And I'm actually one that, like, when I jack the left side of the car, my tire is actually like far away from the car. A lot of people have theirs close, but I like to come with that momentum and velocity and speed. And I also, when I don't put myself very close to the car, people say I'm giving up free time, but I mean, the proof's in the numbers. I mean, I hear you, but I'm still able to do it. But it gives me room for error on, like, if I grab the tire wrong, I have time to, like, fix something. But if I'm so close, I don't have that margin for fixing anything, and I can make it work. So I've always spaced myself I always give myself a little bit more extra cushion, and I like it that way. But yeah, I always give myself a little more space on the left side of the car. I never do things to a T. I always give myself wiggle room. And like you said, I do my homework. Like whoever's pitting around me, where they're running when we come down pit road, I can almost guess if if we're running fifth, the 48's running 12th. The 48 is going to be coming around us as I'm pegging the right side of the car. And I can just about, instead of it surprising me, I know just about when he's going to be coming around us. You know what I mean? So I'm always like, I'm not just out there jacking the car. Like I do a lot of homework, man. I know when a young guy just into the sport and he's got potential and he's going to be fast, but he's a Jackman. I can see it, you know, but I can also see he's a little erratic. He got to go as fast as he can to be good. He can't be smooth and be good. Like he got to go all out and give it 100% to be good. So like I pay attention to like little nuances. That's like my little inside things. I know a lot. Like I watch and pay attention to a lot of stuff. You know, whether a guy's consistent, he's fast around the car, but he struggles putting a tire on. I don't want to be the best at one thing. I try to be good at everything. So when you talk about like running around the car and stuff, I don't just focus on running fast around the car. I try, when you rate a Jackman accumulatively, I want to be at the top of that. That's consistency, that's pressure, that's where you run, that's pit stop challenges where nothing's going on at Wilkesboro and everyone's watching you. You know, it's like the Barstools guy. You one bite, everybody know the rules. One pit stop, you know, that's what you got. You know, we're all got the same thing. So I raise stuff off of that. And, you know, like I said, win, lose, or draw, I'm good with whatever, but it's been going my way a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, you pretty much checked all those boxes that you were talking about, bud.
Right. Sure. Yeah, it took the words right out of my mouth.
Before we let you go, I got one more I want to throw at you.
No, you're good, man.
It is, you know, we all have our welcome to the league moment, right? Whether football, basketball, you name it, all the way across the board. Do you have a moment that stands out to you, good, bad, neutral, something that stands out to you that maybe our listeners might want to hear about?
As far as what, like just
like maybe surprise at the speeds, you know, your first couple times coming out there, or anything of the sort. And that might not be a well-worded question on my part, but do you have like let's go with this. Do you have a moment that stands out that's special to you over everything else? You know, it could be your Daytona 500 win or a random race in the middle of the season that you won that just stands out or means more.
I mean, obviously Daytona 500 is a tough one to beat. That's why I'm really chasing a championship, a cup championship. Man. I mean, probably this past weekend, man, honestly. That was pretty special. You know, Michael Hick's been in the sport 20 years and has never won 3 consecutive race wins, but got over 50 plus cup wins. And he said he's only won back-to-back races like once in his career. So probably this past weekend, man, because, you know, the pit crew did well, the driver did well. Everyone did their part at a high level on Sunday, and we were able to make history because of it. So as of today, that was a pretty cool, you know, I can tell off Michael Hicks. He don't get too excited, but he was like, dude, this is cool. Like, this is special for sure. So probably this past Sunday sticks out, man. Because sometimes you'll win races and you weren't the best on pit road, or you weren't good, or you didn't really deliver. But this one, it was everyone did their part at a high level. So this 3 in a row is super special. Hopefully I can be saying 4 in a row next week, but
that's a great answer. And
I just want to add to that. If you guys pull that off, that is an even rarer feat. It is not, you know, winning in this sport is not easy, no matter how you do it. Yeah. But to go out there, like you said, and execute on all facets of the game, you know, that is, you know, when you're firing on all 8 and Bell's firing on all 8, Adam Stevens is hitting on all 8, and just, you know, you call a perfect race basically start to finish. You know, those are beautiful moments, and you do have to appreciate those. And then the fact that actually helped you secure 3 in a row, that's special. And I know Vegas is a chip on the shoulder race for you guys. You
Oh,
don't
for
have to
sure.
you don't have to sugarcoat it, but I'm excited to see you guys go out there and swing the bat for the fences this weekend, because I know that's the mindset.
You saw Bell's post. We know we're not going to win them all, but we're damn sure going to try.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and I said something after Coda. I post, it's hard to beat a great team, but it's almost impossible to beat a great family. And right now in this 20 team, man, it seems like just one big family, man. And I mean, we're coming to win Vegas. I mean, make no mistake about it. I mean, if someone ain't gonna take it, we're gonna keep taking it. If someone don't, start firing on off all cylinders like us, I mean, we're not letting up. So hopefully, man,
Right now, from the fans' perspective, it's the Christopher Bell, the 20 team, and then everybody else right now. That's what it seems like this NASCAR season. And what y'all are doing is just incredibly special. I'm privileged to be able to watch it happen in real time, watching you guys just kick butt, week after week. It is awesome, and enjoy it, relish in
man,
it.
I'm taking it in, man. I do want to talk about one little thing.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I know where I know I'm right where I belong, and the whole winning thing, man. Like I said, it's just feel like it's been following me, and I just kind of want to go back to like all of the winning that I've done. And this is nothing to boast about, but I'm a high school state champion. I'm a junior college national champion with a record of 36-0. 2-time regular season champion at High Point University, Daytona 500 champion, Xfinity Series champion. Back-to-back pit crew challenge champions. And I mean, it's awesome, man. It's cool. It just feels so good, but there's no secret recipe to it, man. Just the nucleus of making everyone else around you and having those high expectations. That's it. Like that's the crazy part. It's preparation, obviously. There's talent, but also there's that humbleness of just the work. Like I gotta put in the work. Like, dude, like, I mean, I don't know if you're we're doing a new choreography run around the car. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to that or caught that yet. I'm actually, when I drop the right side of the car, I'm taking the jack like behind my back.
Oh,
like this.
Oh,
does that kind of swing your momentum around the car?
Yeah, so there's a couple attempts to that, and that's what no one's really caught. A couple people know about it. You can look it up. I think Dion Rocco Williams talked about it on YouTube. But yeah, so just gaining those little attempts and stuff, and it's cool. But I just wanted to talk about the winning thing, man. It's just knowing that nucleus, knowing the groups of people that have that same. The reason I went to Joe Gibbs is I wanted to be around likely-minded people. It was nothing against Richard Childress, a great organization that brought me into the sport of NASCAR, but I was starting to get content. I was the guy at Richard Childress. I was the best Jackman, and I was like, man, I feel like I could do this forever. I gotta go. I asked one of my buddies, like, where is the best pit crews? I was still fairly young, and they were like, dude, they're at Joe Gibbs. Like those Jackman, those pit crews are really good. And I'm like, well, I gotta go there because I have to see if I need to go in that building to see if I'm just as good or better. And I mean, I've been holding my own since I've been at Gibbs, man. And it's been fun. I love a lot of us. What people don't see is there's not like a big chess measuring contest at Gibbs when it comes to us working like as pit crews. Like that's the difference that I see from like a lot of other companies. We work together. It's healthy competition. There's no egos, and there's no secrets. We all work together. We go at it at practice, but it stays there. And we all just talk, and it's just super cool. Everyone works hard. Like I went over there, I was expecting these guys to just be talented and lazy, not really work out or do anything like that. Man, these dudes work hard day in and day out, and that's contagious too. So when you come over there, that's the culture. We don't talk about it. We don't brag about it. We expect to win. Like we're not showing up to run 20th. We're not showing up to finish 10th. We're trying to come win. Like, and you feel that in the building. Like there's no other reason to show up to racetracks for us. Like
I'm sure you can feel it in the building, and everybody can see it on the track, my friend. Like, make no mistake about it, man. You're
I'm
The
telling
world is
it's
world is
different
watching.
this year, man. Like I'm getting chills talking about it. It is different this year. The locked in, the belief, the work, the redemption of years of us not making it last year. I mean, dude, we not playing. I mean, as you can see, and I know I can say it now after winning 3 in a row, but we're on a mission.
Can you tell us a little bit about the emotions? Ryan and I discuss it in private often, actually, post Martinsville, when everybody's standing around for 20 minutes waiting for NASCAR to come up with some sort of resolution to what just took place. I mean, can you talk to us from the crew standpoint?
Emotions were, I mean, we were already heartbroken because we went into Martinsville like, hey, we just need to have a solid day. And everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong that day. I think we had a bad stop in there somewhere. We had to come back and either tighten up a nut or something. I think we spun out one time. Like everything was going wrong that race that could possibly go wrong until the end where he had a shot and, it got pushed up into the wall and just whatever the case may be and was stuck on the wall. And we knew they wouldn't give it to us. NASCAR, not Joe Gibbs. They're not going to give that to us.
That's a fair statement.
Yeah, I mean, it just don't go our way when it comes to stuff like that. But we were heartbroken, man. We knew we belonged in that Final Four. We knew we had a season to belong in that Final Four. So just like I said the other day in a Sirius XM interview, we're going to take the referees out of the game this year.
There you go.
We don't want any more debates or guessing or what this team is. That's the energy I feel from Bell. You're not gonna teeter-totter on whether he's a great driver or not anymore.
Nope.
So we're feeding off of that. So
last year I started to see an edge about him. And this year it is edge personified. Like that transition, like I said, that paradigm shift, whatever you want to call it, you can't deny it at this point, I can't thank you enough for sharing your story and your journey in motorsports and just hearing all this positivity, man. I'm fired up and I'm ready to run through a brick wall with you, man. It's like,
so it all makes sense, Ryan, now that you've talked to me, right?
Absolutely. And it's a lot noisier on pit road having these conversations. So I'm glad we got the chance to do it here. And, to quote a Super Bowl champion this past year, Nick Sirianni, you seem to live this quote of his and it just resonates. And so I got to say, you can't be great without the greatness of others. I've heard it a lot from him and the Philadelphia Eagles this past year, and they live that mantra. And it sounds like you guys are living that mantra right now. And just, it's BTA for you guys right now. It's just been insane and it's been fun to watch. Yes, we do this, Don and I, and get the pleasure to sit down and talk with, industry experts like yourself. But, we were fans of this sport first. And, the inner fan in me is just, you can't not appreciate what you're seeing. People. The next step is people are going to start hating on you guys, right? Because you're winning all the time,
it comes with the territory, right?
It does, and but at the same, people get like I'll use the NFL for example. People were all, everybody was rooting for the Eagles unless you were a Chiefs fan this past year in the Super Bowl, and it's great as an Eagles fan. I loved it, but at the same time, it's like you sit back and look at it. Naturally, I wanted my team to beat them, but you sit and look at what they accomplished to get the 3 Super Bowls in a row. It's so special and it's so rare, and it doesn't happen by accident.
Right.
It just doesn't. And you've seen it in other sports as well. You've seen teams rattle off multiple championships, and I know this isn't a championship, but the past 3 weeks to go out and do it, it's still special. It's still hard to do. You may never do it again. There's all those things that go into it. Now, I hope that's not the case for you, but, I'm just saying, that's a reality of the life you live in, and you can't take those moments for granted. So, again, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for you, the entire team. Wish you the best of luck in Vegas and see if we keep that streak alive. See if those dice are rolling 20 again this weekend.
Hey, we're gonna bet on ourselves, I'm telling you. But nah, man, appreciate you for having me. That quote was awesome. I say it to myself all the time. I'm only as great as the guys around me. Yeah, Darrell this or the quarterback that, but I'm only as good as my tire carrier, my tire changer, my fuel, so that don't get that messed up. You know what I mean? I'm only as good as the guys around me. So
it's a team sport, and we don't want people to forget that NASCAR is truly a team sport. That's one of the reasons we started this. That's one of the reasons why we sought out crew members first before drivers. Yeah. Everybody glorifies the drivers, and rightfully so. But you know what? It's a team. It takes a team, and we don't want to ever forget that. So again, thank you.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it for sure.
Yep. Thank you so much for joining us, bud.
All right, no problem, man. Talk to y'all soon.
Yeah. Take care. Oh, wow, Don. So that was special, man, to have Darrell come on here, fresh off 3 wins, and just, but not only that, just like I said, I'm ready to run through a brick wall for this guy. That aura and, what he radiates, it's just, it is contagious. And just a great dude. I'm glad that we had the chance to have him on here.
Absolutely, Ryan. You said it perfectly, and thank you again to Darrell for hanging out with us, man. What a great story to be able to listen to, and I'm glad he got to brag on himself a little bit. I mean, these types of things are very hard to do. The things that this team is accomplishing are not easy. So you know what? Boast about it. We'll boast about it with you. We love seeing the success out of these guys, and we wish nothing but the best for them too. Ryan, another incredible interview with an amazing guest. I'm so privileged to be able to sit down with you and these guys and hang out and just talk racing. It's been such a true pleasure and a blessing. But yeah, everybody that joined us today, thank you so much. 5 Lug Racing, we're signing off on this one, but we'll catch you again on the next one. Y'all take care.